I'm always gonna be bumping like JME serious, Skepta intensive snare. Like I'm
The
always
hi
gonna be
hats, treble,
bumping.
and bass.
Yeah, bro, don't tell me you know about that tune there because there's a couple
Obviously.
pieces that don't.
Put your
Listen,
lighters in the air. Are you stupid in the face? Just the intensive snare. The hi hats, treble, and bass. The level that I'm gonna want to be on. Because I'm a star and I shine like neon.
Typically, got a man down
Down like neon.
I do a wasteland, so there's a lot
of things we can't agree on.
Spitting and I was learning to flow, and I pray it's gonna take me much further than most. But before I never earned my first ever note, I was singing until it was burning my throat. Like,
it's sick to have you, bro. How are you doing today?
I'm alright, man. Like, I'm just going for a little walk right about now because I've been trying to just get out of the house every single day. Like at some point, just go for a little walk, go for a run, something like that. But yeah, alright, man. I'm keeping well. You know what I mean? I'm keeping myself busy. To be fair, like I think I'm the only person I know that's actually like just staying like proper busy. When I chat to somebody else, no one's doing nothing. But with me, it's always I got something to do, I got something planned, or got something ready. So yeah, man, doing all right. So.
And what have you been doing?
Writing, just basically, yeah. It's just there's a lot to do with music in it. So like, I've been trying to sort out instrumentals, trying to a few producers, trying to get things planned for the future. That's the thing that's kind of getting me through this like quarantine period as well. Just like the whole like writing process, like falling in love with it again and that. So yeah, man.
I feel like a lot of people are finding it hard to write.
Yeah, for real. I think, to be fair though, it always boils down to like what you put in is what you get out, innit? So like, if you're not like pushing yourself to be inspired by certain things, or you're not like going out there and searching for new things and that, then I guess like you're not really gonna be all that inspired, innit? You're just gonna kind of like run out of things to write about. You're not really gonna have much to say.
So you're from Leicester, yeah?
Yeah.
And how did you first get into music?
I first got into music by, I'm trying to think, what, like right from the beginning, or like, because I've not always like lived in Leicester, innit? Like, when I used to live up north, like,
yeah,
I must, well, when I lived up north, basically, like, my mum took me to choir one day, and I think that was like one of the first tastes of like a musical experience that I've had. And then I think things started to get kind of a lot more serious when like we came to Leicester, obviously. And
how old were you when you moved to Leicester?
How old was I? I think I was 10, 11, around that kind of time, innit? Because I had like one more year's worth of school. So I think I did my SATs down here. Yeah, I think it was at 10, I think I came to Leicester.
Okay.
So yeah, I came to Leicester when I was like 10. And then I think like later on into secondary school, and kind of like as I've come to Leicester, I've started like being like a fan of music kind of thing. So I'd say like at the start of like secondary school, kind of end of primary school, I'd be more of a fan of music. So like just enjoying listening to people and like proper going on like binges of like certain artists and their like all their works and that. And then I think towards the end of school time, when I've started doing like GCSEs and stuff like that, that's when like I kind of decided like, yeah, like music's the one for me, like kind of thing. Like I really do like this. Like I was into my sport as well, but I think music kind of just overtook it and like started taking it a lot more seriously. Obviously, I went music college as well, so studied music at college there, done a diploma. So that was sick. So yeah, I think it was around that kind of time, because like that's when I kind of started like taking things a lot more seriously, going out there, looking to actually like see how to like turn this thing into a business. And that's what I've kind of learned, that like how you can kind of try and turn things into a business. So yeah, I mean, it's a long process, obviously, still learning, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, but that's cold, yeah. Like when your mum took you to choir, you were like
100. Hey, bro, you'd never believe it, yeah? Because I kicked, I screamed. I said, Mum, I want to play football. I was like, my boys don't sing. It's not cool. Yeah. Now look at me. Joking it.
I can relate to that as well, because I remember back in the day I was in the choir growing up in Leicester, yeah. What was that like, just disregarding music?
I say it's a lot better than up north, put it that way. Just
Where
because
up
in
north were
Leicester,
you
like,
before?
bro, we was up in like County Durham,
Yeah,
like it's Newcastle side basically, like them kind of
yeah,
areas there, like northeast and that. So
yeah,
like for me, I experienced a lot of racial differences, let's say.
yeah.
So like, yeah, for me, I didn't really like fit in that well, and
Yeah, because you
obviously,
said that in a lot of your bars as well.
yeah. It was tough fitting in, man. Like I wanted to fit in. I wanted to like, you know what I mean? You want to do it at the end of the day, but like, it's just one of them things, isn't it? Like, yeah, sometimes you don't, sometimes you
What?
do.
Because
Like,
it was just mostly white.
yeah. Like obviously, it was like a more like white dominated area.
Yeah,
I mean, as expected, obviously, it's like the northeast, isn't it? But like, whereas Leicester is a lot more multicultural, a lot more like there's just so many different like people from different cultures, places, grounded. You kind of like you just fit in it. You know what I mean? It's just not like fit in, but you can just be yourself a lot more, man. Like I remember going to school with black people and being like, because when I went school up north, primary school up north, I was the only person of any kind of color in that school. Whereas
mm,
when I went school here, like it was cool going to school with like black people and being like, oh yeah, cool, like you're like me kind of thing. Like
mm.
which sounds kind
Yeah,
of mad when you think about it, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, because in challenge day when you say you're too black for the white kids, but then too white for
Yeah.
the black kids, it shows in your accent as well because you've got a bit of London, bit of Midlands, bit of Leicester.
Yeah, a little bit. It fluctuates, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
in listening,
yeah.
yeah.
It's some vowels. It's some vowels.
Yeah. I get it all the time, man. Some people are like, you look really northern just then, and then it's like, oh, you sound like a southerner just then. I'm like, bro, allow me in it. No.
No, but it's cool because it makes you different, though.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I'm
obviously,
proud of me in it. Get me? So it's cool.
yeah, that's the main thing, bro. When you started to take music seriously, what was it like for you breaking into the grime scene, being from Leicester?
I think I've never really like. I know obviously we call it a grime scene and stuff like that, but like for me, I think music's always just been music, innit? So I wouldn't have necessarily like. I've only really seen it as a grime scene when I'm there with a lot of other grime MCs. But like, I'm just kind of like, sorry, I'm just crossing that road, innit? I'm not trying to get like motored or anything.
Yeah.
I've not really like ever sort of seen it as like a kind of scene until I've kind of stood there with other MCs. So at first, it was just kind of like a few mates, and we was just all like meeting up at a park and stuff, and just spitting bars and whatnot, and just kicking it, just chilling. And then like, I guess at the same time, I was making music in college as well. So that was like in a band where it had like indie influences as well as like music of black origin as well, them kind of influences there. So like there's a like that kind of time period, I guess I was kind of like experimenting with a lot of music.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the only thing about it was I'd say the fact that I was from the Midlands. And I think like that's the only thing about it that kind of like stood out to me. To me, it didn't matter necessarily whether it was grime or whether it was something that where you heard me singing, you know what I mean, or like whatever it was. I just always feel like I want to stand out, and
Yeah.
that's like never changed since then. And I think the only thing that's like really changed, the only thing that was like really a standout was the fact that I was from the Midlands, and obviously it was just like
Yeah.
it kind of makes things a little bit more difficult, I guess, compared to say someone from London, because there's a lot more opportunities. But like at the end of the day, wherever you're from, you're gonna get other people that's around you that's also competing with you. You're gonna get other artists that are making a lot of noise. So for me, I think it means that like I know that there's a lot less opportunities than there would be for an artist from London, but that still doesn't change the fact that like when I touch a mic, when I touch a stage, when I grab my pencil, when I write, don't matter where I'm from,
Yeah, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
just gonna, yeah, you know
Your
what I mean?
energy
I want to
shines
do the
through.
best, and Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
at the
always
end of the
gonna.
day,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I want to bring out the God in me. Do you know what I mean? And I want to show people, like, obviously how powerful my God is. And you get me? That's what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? I want to show people my greatness and, like, obviously rep for my peoples, my ancestors, my family, show people what I'm made of, make my mark on history and that. So, yeah, nothing changes, man. Like, nothing changes.
That bit was
Yeah.
so quotable. Fucking hell, bro. Are you religious?
Yo, this is how to get mad deep. Nah, I'm joking. The thing is like, for me, I'm what you'd obviously, I'd say, identify as Christian.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I don't think that Jesus was this white guy that was like on all of the stained glass windows and all this kind of stuff. I kind of look at them and I'm like, who's that guy? And then, like, I don't think that Jesus' disciples were John and Peter and James, even though that's the name of me and my siblings. Like, but I don't necessarily think that. I know that their translations and things would have been changed, and you know what I mean. You have to be aware of what you believe in and that. You know what I mean. So for me, I guess I'd identify as that, but I'm not trying to say I'm the best Christian. I'm not trying to say that I'm the perfect one or I'm perfect or anything. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that I still need to work on physically, spiritually, mentally. So, like, yeah.
I feel like you're quite a
basically,
spiritual person. I get that impression.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, definitely. You know what I mean? Like, I got tons of stories, tons of things I could say, tons of conversations we could go into, I guess. But yeah. Bottom line is, yeah.
I feel like you, out of all people, have such a mad sense of rhythm, because the way you flow in and out, the pockets you find on beats is just crazy. Like, as an MC myself, I really admire that, because it feels like you have a really deep sense of the rhythm. Do you know what I mean?
I think I've understood it from a young age, though. Like, I definitely feel like flowing on beats as well is one of the things that I've like loved to do from like early. Just like, I'd always be interested in like techie kind of flows and like all the intricacies that MCs would put in their bars and stuff like that. And like, you know what I mean? Just from young, like even I think it stems from just like listening to certain like tunes and maybe being the one of the group that's listening and being like, oh, I can spit the fast bit, or like I can do this bit, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, like with how everyone tried to do the whole like Eminem, I think it was it Godzilla? Was that new tune where he just like, he spits like mad crazy quick or something? I guess I've always liked that kind of stuff. I've always liked the way that certain MCs like pronunciate their words and like just in general, just the way that people just kind of flow on beats and stuff like that. So
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. One of them ones.
Yeah, because also another thing is that I feel like while a lot of grime artists will have grime songs where they shell and then their deep songs as two separate things, you combine them.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I want to like sort of have that kind of like edge, I guess, and like do things that's different. And I feel like sometimes as grime MCs or as rappers or wordsmiths or artists, I think that you can like sometimes sacrifice flow for like trying to get a hard bar across. But like, I never want to have to do that. I always want to like maybe try and find a way to kind of, I understand as well that sometimes you want to get your lyrics heard and that. So if you've got one bar that you want to particularly say that you've written and you're kind of like becoming one of your favorites as a piece of work that you're working on, like, I get it, sometimes you do, but yeah, I think it's nice to be able to listen to an artist that can do that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, I am Jafro's biggest fan at the end of the day as well. So like, it's kind of like I make music that I want to listen to as well. So I think it sometimes boils down to that as well. Like some days I'll just be walking along and I think, oh, like it'd be nice right now to just have a song where this happens, and then I'll make that tune. You know what I mean? So, or it comes from like conversations with people or moments where like I'll freestyle with a couple mates and that, and then a tune idea will come out and I'll just be like, yeah, that's it. Or like I'll be chatting to my cousin and Nancy. A lot of songs have come from that, where we've just had conversations about like powerful topics and that, and we'll be talking, and then it'll just inspire me with something, or like my brothers will inspire me, or just, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot like that you can take away from things, I think, and a lot more that when you actually look deep into something and then you stretch it out a bit and you actually take 5 minutes to just think about something, a whole tune can be made out of like certain things. So like, I just think, yeah, like when you stop and do that and you take things in, I think, yeah, like a lot comes out of it. So
yeah, because I guess each tune is from a train of thought as well. Just one train of thought.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
you don't hear a lot of people get deep on grime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of yes and kind of no, actually. Ooh, yeah. Jeez, that bike has just come back mad quick. Yeah, no, I'm kind of like the type of person where, like, I'm a big fan of music. Like, I'm a big fan of music as a whole, innit? So I just like the idea of, like, I don't know, being able to have a lot of tunes that are like playable in a lot of different areas and a lot of different circumstances and different vibes, and just all types of different tunes in general. And I think it reflects, like, for my music taste as well. Like, I've got a similar sort of music taste to my dad, where he just likes a load of different stuff. So I've grown up hearing One Day My Dad blasting tunes by Bob Marley,
Yeah.
and then 5 minutes later it will switch to the Beatles, and then 5 minutes later it will be the Fugees, and then 5 minutes later it will be something else. You know what I mean? It will just be like loads of different tunes, and I just think it's kind of like had a massive reflection on me, where like I've kind of like listened to certain songs and I've been like, oh, what if we take an element from here and we mix it in with here? Or what if we do this with that and then combine it and stuff like that? So yeah, I guess that's where that's kind of come from, really. So it's just kind of like, for me, it's funny when I hear people highlight this, because I'm kind of like, I don't really feel like there's anything different. You know what I mean? For me, this doesn't feel like it's a necessary talking point. Like, it just kind of feels a bit like, I don't know, like kind of feels like just like it's normal. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of feels like it's just.
Well, the reason
like,
why it's a talking point is because it's objectively impressive, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100. I do hear that.
Because you clearly got a respect for music. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm on 2%, by the way. So like, if this dies, I
Yeah.
have to part 2 this still.
How far are you from your yard?
Like, let's say 2 minutes.
Okay.
Should be alright.
Yeah, man. Who would you say are your main influences?
Gotta be the Fugees, man. I remember the Fugees Ready or Not being played when I was like 4. And my dad played the record and I'd heard it and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is amazing.
Someone that hops to mind for me is Kamikaze.
Kama's yeah, Kama's there. Drake's a massive inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, love the way that this guy just actually bodies everything that he touches. So sick, like, so inspiring to do that. And I think that's what I want to do as an artist as well.
I guess he just comes so correctly on every tune. Also his versatility as well.
Mad versatile, bro. Mad versatile.
Yeah.
That's so sick. But then there's like also like there's a lot of people's really like who else is there? There's tons, bro. Like, I could speak about tons of people. I mean, like, you've got like people like Anderson .Paak, J. Cole, another massive inspiration. Like, that album he created, Forest Hills Drive, insane, bro. Absolutely insane. Like, when you listen all the way through, nuts. And then obviously, like, there's the people's them, innit? So like the people's, like, for example, like people's like KP, General, got like the
and that's a
FDR
nice mix. It's a nice mix between grime people and then American artists as well.
Yeah. For real, for real, for real. Like,
And you do
there's a
have
lot.
that melodic element as well, so that's pretty sick.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I make music that I'm like a fan of as well, innit? So obviously, like,
Mm,
it's one of them ones where like I enjoy the music that I like to the point where I want to make that kind of music and similar to it as well. So
yeah,
like, people like obviously my cousin and Nancy as well, like hold tight him each and every time because like me and him have just like grown on this musical journey like so much. And
yeah,
people like Kamikaze as well, like mad inspiring to see what he's doing. Like
yeah.
not even just in music, bro. Like this guy's a footballer at the same time as
That's
doing music
crazy.
as well. That's sick, bro. Like imagine being on FIFA and then having your tune on
Your
FIFA as well.
Jew,
That's
yeah,
mad inspiring, bro. There's enough people, man. Like obviously Kazi and Nancy as well. Like we're in a duo called Chief Shadow as well.
mm,
Obviously this guy is just like insanely talented and mad inspiring. Like some of the conversations we've had sparked up so many different tunes, different rhythms, like different ideas. Like I think I was talking to him about like my SBTV and that, and like it's funny, like we had a talk about challenge day and how it's like he's like right, like it's time. Do you know what I mean? Like you turn up the heat a couple notches and
yeah,
like obviously I've made a bit of this beat and then sent it over to Riddler, and then obviously Riddler's just added this touch on the beat where it just turned it into something like insane. Like when I heard the rhythm back, I remember listening back to it for the first time and thinking, bruv, like this is mad. And then
yeah,
I just had to just make sure that I just came correctly and just done it justice. So yeah, man, like there's tons of people that I could just talk about on this journey where they've just all been like so inspiring, so like just But I think one of the biggest as well for me is like Bob Marley as well. Like this guy had how many countless records we could just go through like all of his tunes and like not find one single cuss word as well. Like that's insane. Like to see where he came from, what he did with music, what like the impact that he's had on the world as a whole. Insane, bro. Like it's nuts. It's nuts.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and that's nice because the diversity of it definitely shows in your music, which is cool. Off topic, but where did you just go for a walk? Were you just on the main road?
Yeah, no, so obviously like where I am, there's basically like this like dual carriageway and that, and it's just nice to just walk along there sometimes, isn't it? So
Yeah,
sometimes I go for a stroll down there and just like
yeah.
them ones just need a little bit of fresh air and that.
I found so funny, yeah, was in the Red Bull when you were like, this
Oh
guy's
yeah.
breath stinks.
Bro, do you know what?
Bro, the cheek, it was so funny. I was actually
Nah, you
creasing.
know what? Hold tight, play.
And then you were like that after he started.
No, hold tight, Blay though, for real though, because Blay is a sick MC and a sick producer. Like no MC
Yeah, he is.
up against in that competition was whack. Like they was all like mad sick. Like everyone, if you look at like everyone who's in that competition, not even the teams that we faced, just everyone as a whole, sick MCs, bro. Like massive, like bro, them man are just they go in so much. But yeah, that for that clash, I remember speaking to KP and like we was just talking about like clashing and stuff. And I think KP, he's one of the worst people that you'd want to clash against. And like I remember talking to him about it and stuff, and we was just talking about like funny ideas and what it would be jokes to be like in a clash and that. And it's just I think sometimes in a clash you've got to be like mad as disrespectful as possible, I think, because it is all out war, man. Like it is all out war. Do you know what I mean? Like you're athletes. You're not just some sort of like for other genres of music, it's different. But because of where it comes from and like the inspirations from like and the elements of like sound clash culture that it carries, I think you just have to try and be as like disrespectful and like you have to mock your opponent as much as possible on and off mic as well. So you know what I mean? But
yeah, because it makes it authentic as well.
100%.
And literally, because sound clashing in grime is just such a big, massive influence.
It makes the culture like it's funny when I see people online and that, and they're talking about like, oh, come on, guys, like we need to be a bit more like nicer to each other and that. And I'm like, no,
fuck that. Because also back in those days as well, when people were sound clashing, they were talking about like, you know, shooting the other guy and like. So nowadays, compared to then, it's actually got more tame.
Yeah, it's mad tame. It's mad tame. Like some of the stuff that you just see in certain clashes, you're just like raw. Like, Okay, didn't know it was that deep. Like, you know, one of them ones.
No, the Jamaican guys back in the day were you know what I mean?
Different, bro. It was sick. It was sick. Like the whole experience was just so sick, man. Like shout out Red Bull, shout out everyone involved, man, because that was just so sick. Like no, I don't think anyone that's seen that will forget what happened. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of who you think wins, lost, who you think went in, didn't go in.
Yeah.
You're not like what happened there. You're not gonna forget about it when you watch it, and I think that's so sick. Like for me as an artist, I think it's important that we try and not stay in the zone. Like whilst making something that people like is important, you have to remember that some people can perceive things in a negative way, but as long as it makes someone react or make a remark, it becomes like remarkable, obviously, and like that's what you want to create. Like that's what you want. So yeah, man. When I watch that back, I just think like I remember being there in the room and that, and like the energy in the room. It was sky high, man. Like there was just some mad war energy in there. It was sick, bro. It was so
Clashing's
sick,
a whole different ballpark to music as well.
100%. Like you gotta come with your A game, otherwise.
Oh my god, trust me, because I did a don't flop on Grime, yeah, and
swear.
I didn't flop it, but it was like I didn't realize how much you had to be on your game.
You have to really come with your A game that day. Otherwise, what could happen in that room stops your like music credibility at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to show people why you're there, why you are who you are. Like this is like a part where like you're like, okay, cool, like I'm the one. Do you know what I mean? Out of us two, it's either me or you, and it's me right about now. Do you know what I mean?
It's primal energy. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's you're fighting someone lyrically.
Fit to survive, innit? You get me? Like we wouldn't be here if we wasn't the fastest sperm, like right from birth. You know what I mean? So, like, bro, there's always been a competitive element to anything in life. Do you know what I mean? So it's always important to remember that. I think it's sick that like I've been able to be a part of like something like that, sound clash culture, like as a whole. I know it's not like a necessary like a sound clash, but still like it is a clash of some sort.
It's
like,
a product of sound clash culture.
Yeah, for real. Like sound clash culture birthed this, and I think like it's sick that I get to like be a part of that, and like I'm a shouted man, and me and Skis went down there with Camera, and we repped, man. Like we fully repped. You know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of us lot when people talk about it, and like, obviously it gets brought up a lot in it, but like it's one of them ones where it's like it was a sick moment. Like it was a sick thing, and I think like it's definitely led on to other bits, and like I think it also like boosts your confidence as well. Do you know what I mean? Like after doing that Red Bull, like not that I wasn't as confident before, but I think music as a whole, when you compete, it brings out another like element of you, because now you're in the room up against someone. You can't back out when you're there and you're stood face to face. You have to like overcome your opponent. So I think like it brings out like another element that you never really knew you had. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's one of them ones where like you find out whether you have it or you don't. And like at the end of the day, like you win, you lose, you lose. Like life does go on, but like what happens in that room might not be forgotten about. So you have to always remember that and think, right, cool. Like when I go in there, I smell blood, I'm taking home someone's head. That's it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, but I agree with you. But at the same time, though, if you lose a clash or you mess up a clash, it's calm. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Like
as long as you can bounce back.
Yeah, 100%. Like the thing is, you can spin off any moment. Like you can bounce off any moment. You can run from any moment. You know what I mean? Like you can get energy from any moment. So I think like it's important to always remember that like it's never ever over. Do you know what I mean? Just because of whatever happens.
I mean, personally, I would value music much more than clashing, and I think it's really sick that you have both sides, because you can murk someone in a clash at the same time as having sick tunes. You know what I mean?
I think this kind of stuff comes from like secondary school and that though, when like we just used to like fuck around spitting and whatnot. Like all of the man them, we would just like clash against each other for jokes and organize little clashes and stuff. Like it's mad. Like we just been kind of doing this thing from early. Like even I think the banter at like my secondary school was different as well though. Like Lancaster boys kind of banter. It's like it was one of them ones where like if you ask any man that's been there, like Hammer, Ski, KP, like all of these lot. Ask any of these lot, they'll say, yeah, like the banter back then, it was different, man. Like you had to have some strength about you, man, to take on
Yeah.
some of them customers there. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
man, like you have to be able to dish a little back as well. So I think like you just kind of put that into the music, and then yeah, man.
Yeah, of course, bro. And what are your future shit? What are your future plans?
Future plans is world domination.
Yeah.
Nah, for real, world domination, financial
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
I'm here to put my name on the map, my family's name on the map, Guyana on the map, Leicester on the map, Midlands on the map. No, I think immediate future, I've got a few exciting releases that like, I'm just gassed about, man. Like I'm proper like loving the writing process. I fell out of love with the writing process and the
Why do you
creative
think you
side.
fell out of love with it?
Just because I think there was a lot of stuff going on. Like life can hit you hard, man. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff that can like hit you, and like as I say, like it's about your mentality, innit? You've got to be able to bounce from it. And I think sometimes like certain things can knock the wind out of you. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of when you get to the booth and that, you might not be 100% to do the tune that you've written some justice. So I think like for me, it kind of felt like when you do them kinds of things, sometimes you need to also remember what you're doing, like what you're creating. You're creating artwork that you want to like last forever. You want this artwork to like be the greatest that you can make it. And like I think for me, it was one of them ones where like things started to become a task. Things started to become a bit of like a chore, and like I kind of felt a bit like when it comes to music and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think throughout it all, I've never really lost that all of the love for the writing process. And I think now I'm just like getting back into it. Like I've been speaking to a couple producers and that.
I think naturally falling out of love with it a bit gives you the space to then fall back in love with it even stronger.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
natural, do you know what I mean? So
you kind of miss it when it's gone. Like so, it's one of them ones where you just think like, yeah, man, like you know what? I want to do this today. I want to start writing again today. And you start writing for your own good again, and you start feeling a bit like, yeah, like I'm here for me. I'm making music for me. Like as I say, I'm Jafro's biggest fan. Do you know what I mean? So like, I'll listen to my own music happily on Spotify, and like I'll play my own music happily on Spotify, and like listen to run throughs of my albums and stuff. And like I listen to like my unreleased music as well, and I bop to it and stuff. The same way that I'd listen to like anyone that inspires me or my favorite artist. And I think like it's always important to keep that love. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of them ones, isn't it? So
yeah, I really like your perspective on making the music because I can see you're very driven. You're so insanely driven. I like your perspective on making the art because it's urgent. There's a lot of urgency. It's like you're making something that's gonna last forever, and then you've got to remember there are certain people that are making tunes about smoking weed. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, the thing is though, like it's you have to like life is a movie, innit, man? You have to live your movie. You have to like I think who was it that said this? I think it was Nipsey Hussle. He said something about like no MC should feel ashamed of who they are as a person. Like if you want to spit about your life, that's calm. If you feel like you can't spit about your life and whatnot, then it's like, are you really confident in who you are? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them ones where like I feel like you've got to kind of really believe in yourself when you're doing this kind of stuff. So
yeah,
for me, I always feel like again, I'm Jafro's biggest fan. Like I believe in myself. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, someone can tell me something back, but I don't care as long as I like it. You know what I mean? I give God the glory in that. And it's just like, yeah, he gave me the talent and I'm just going to use it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I was just going to work at it, be the best me that I can be.
I like that. What's your writing process like?
My writing process is mad. It's like, it could come from anything. A tune can come from anywhere, honestly. Like, a tune can come from, I don't know, me having a certain thought about things. Like, I wrote a tune about, like, the maddest stuff, bro. Like electrolytes, how like my soul's timeless, right, ranging right the way through to me being the Lord of the Night, me just wanting a quiet Friday night. Like there's loads of stuff where it comes from. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think once I get that original inspiration,
Yeah.
I'll get like a hook or a melody or maybe just some bars, and then like other things will stem from it, and then like I'll kind of go delve deeper into the subject, and then yeah, man, like obviously you've got to get that recorded up and got to get that made into a tune, man. But yeah, like my writing process ranges, man. But
Yeah.
more time, I like to just get in the zone, focus, grab my pen, grab my pad, and just scribe out the best tune that I can make, man. So yeah, man, that's pretty much me.
Yeah. And what do you reckon about the state of grime right now?
Grime's like any music genre, man. Like there was 3 waves of ska. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like we've just had like what I would identify as like the second wave of grime. You know what I mean? Like when it first came out and now it was sick. And then you've kind of had this massive revival right away from like Meridian Dan with his driving a German whip, obviously right the way through to like Drake coming over, showing love, grime going international, Skeppy going on mad tours here, there, everywhere. Like there's just so many like I think there's so many like different conversations going on about is grime dead? Is this dead? Is that dead? No, because like I'd say it's not, because of the fact that like people are still out here making grime. You know what I mean? People are still out here like doing their thing. At the end of the day, like music's music. I don't think music can die, man. Like it can only just evolve as every music genre kind of would. For me, I don't necessarily feel too pressed. I know obviously like there's some people that really care about like the state of grime and that, but for me, I just know that it's one of them things where if grime ain't at the top, it's still gonna be there, and it just takes for one person to just reignite the fire, and then suddenly grime's there again. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of talk about people saying no one cares about grime, no one, not really. Like it's one of them ones where it's like if you like grime, you like grime. As long as one person likes it, not dead.
Yeah, yeah.
It will continue to live as far as I'm concerned. I don't think we'll ever see a day where only one person likes it. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna stick on my tunes and play my favorites from grime and stuff. Like I remember my first taste of grime music. I was sat in maths class, right? And one don said to me, "You're not, don't say, because I say. You wanna get, let's get,
Yeah.
you can't act." You know, and I'm thinking, what's my man saying, bro? And he's like, you don't know this tune. And I'm thinking, oh shit, I fucked up here. Like, then my guy's just gone like, yeah, show me the tune, obviously, boom. I'm listening to it now and I'm thinking, this is sick, bro. I'm like, yo. And like, I think JV is one of the first MCs that like I really like delved into and like seen his music and whatnot, and just like he's sick, bro. He's so sick, bro. Like he's just he's a sick MC, bro. And like him, Skepta, when they made them tunes there, the intensive snare tune, that's bro. Like, and then what's the other tune from Wiley and Frisco? Marijuana. Yeah, bro, that tune there as well. That one, that's another one from like the early sort of grime tunes that like I got into and that. So yeah, man, like bro, like I just can't see grime dying, bro. I just can't see it. Like not when you had like BBK doing that what was it? From when you have to think about like special moments, man. Like when Jamal Edwards hit like I think it was 100 million views or something like that.
Yeah.
And you got like BBK to do a cipher, and who is it that like proper fucks it up at the end? I think it's Shorty. Shorty just goes ham, and like I just remember listening to that and like being like, bro, this is insane. Like this is just so nuts. And then thinking like, when I hear all this talk about like, oh yeah, grime being dead and da-da-da, I'm like, nah, man, it can't happen, bro. Like if I press play on certain records and certain sets, you're gonna be like, no, grime's not dead. Grime's not dead. Get me? Like It can't die.
Good energy will never die.
100%, bro. 100%. Energy full stop will never die. But good energy especially, bro.
Exactly.
Especially.
Grime has the danger of becoming a genre for rappers. So you have a lot of rappers. Do you know what I mean? You've got a lot of MCs. But with you, it's you make grime very listenable.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, man. Like fully. But bro, it's one of them things where I think I like to make the grime that I'd like to listen to at the end of the day. Like I'm not just coming from a grime MC perspective, like, because I think that like when you come from just a grime MC perspective, there is that element where it's like, because you have to also remember that it's a competitive genre, and I think that a lot of MCs are like competing quite a fair bit against each other as part of the clash nature. And so even when you're not directly clashing against someone, you still have to show that you're at that level where it's like you're like, I think who is it that said you're only as good as your last tune, and like that really hit me. So I'm kind of like, I'm always thinking like the next verse needs to be just as strong or as strong as like, or stronger than the last one, and I need to just keep improving, and I need to just keep getting better. And like I think that like it's one of them things where it's like I'm just trying to make music that I'd like to listen to. I'd make music that I like, that I'm a fan of. So I think that like it's one of them ones where it is in a danger because of that competitive reason. And I think that like sometimes you just have to kind of like treat the music as a product at the same time as loving it, and kind of also detach yourself from that competitive element, and also remember that it's like you want to make something that people want to actually listen to again and again and again and again. So you have to like include certain elements and aspects if you want to, that's if you want to do that. But sometimes like it's just a case of, you know what, I feel like waking up today and just writing a verse that only grime MCs are going to appreciate. That's cool, man. Like if that's your target audience, and those are the people that you're trying to reach, and you're trying to reach the rest of the grime scene.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just not sustainable though. As something to do repeatedly, it's not. A few that's cool. Of course it is, but just not as your main thing, you know.
I agree. I think that like it's one of them ones where you kind of have to look at things and think, right, cool, but what am I doing music for?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Am I doing music to be the best MC in the room or the highest paid? Because more time, they're two different things, man. They're two different things, very different things. So like, if you're trying to be the highest paid in the room, like you're gonna make music where I think more people may want to bop to it and that. Because like, let's be real, man. Like if you're in the clubs and that, yeah, you're not trying to hear, yo, I'm the best MC on the mic. You're not trying to hear the best part, bro. You're trying to get turned up, bro. You're not trying to hear about that, bro. I'm trying to hear about a German whip and that, bro. I'm trying to do this and that, bro. I'm trying to like get in a mosh pit and spill my drink nearly and that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do all that, bro. I'm not trying to like deep man's like nearest tune and that. Them are the kind of like energies where you get done like spitting bars in your ear and that, bro. Or like you get them done where they're like, yeah, this guy's sick, but I'm better, trust me. And then it's like, yeah, alright, cool, bro. Like, get out of my way, bro. Like, you know them what's there. So like, I think it definitely is at the same time. Like you have to, I think it's down to the MC though. What the MC wants to do with music.
Of course. Of course it is. Of course it is.
Alright. See, I'm trying to be the greatest. Trying to be the king like David. Picture the picture I'm painting. Any man that thinks he's wise can still get sunned. I guess I really am King David, the Jaguars racing. Them man are in gear 1 while I'm in top gear like David, playing the sailing. Drip too much and I can step it up another notch when I show you what the wave is. If I'm being honest, I don't know what a plan B, but understand me. I go by Shanks, he's pulled me to hell and back for my family. They won't have to thank me. I pray that I don't have to do it, but I might take the muzzle off of Nancy and wait till he's angry. Till then, I stay hard and I drop bars sharp as the blade of a Stanley.
Jeez. Fucking hell. bro. Thank you so much for doing it, bro. It was so sick to talk to you, man.
That's love, bro. That's love, bro. For real,
I really
for real.
appreciate it. I really appreciate that.